Yes.
Sort of as an expression of intent, I would like to see if we could take a vote asking the city to prep info about the pool-only memberships that fellow council has mentioned. That you guys would look into that, and just prep information about that.
So,
So it would be a vote to have staff look into the possibility of the pool-only memberships.
So council, I guess what staff's being asked to do is to look at, if we were to do a pool-only membership, what that fee structure might
Right.
look like.
Yeah,
I guess I'm not gonna ask, again, no, we know this is part of the conversation in the community. Where I need to take some time is to sit down with staff to kind of figure out what that structure is. I know as part of our evaluating of the reimagination of the space, we also looked at some operational expenses, so, again, we can start to look at different scenarios, but each one of them's gonna have assumptions associated with it.
Sure.
And that's, I guess, where I get, we can present different options, different scenarios, and I'm concerned that it gets, can get misportrayed in the community of, well, they promised us this, and that's going down the path of, it was supposed to be self-sustaining, and I wanna be cautious about that.
I want to come back and say, you as council, you can do that. You have the right to do that. I agree with Keith. I would be a little cautious about putting those concrete numbers down when there's so many variables. But you're right. You have that right as council. If you collectively say you want to do that and you wanted to instruct us, you have that right. You have that power. Yes, sir.
Just one thing I want to weigh in, because I think the heart of wanting to be problem solvers and deal with this, I'm very much wired that way. I come from small business myself. I think as city council people, we have to be careful of. Something I've learned over the years I've been here is I tend to try to get down into the nitty gritty of things where city council belongs at much more of a 10,000 foot view. That we're over departments, we're over setting like who's making these decisions. The center's made many different restructuring, what how much they're gonna charge for memberships and what they're gonna do to this. For us to start asking to do votes on, well, we think you should change it to this price, or we think you need to restructure it that way. I'm cautious in that, although I love like the hands-on management of it, because that's kind of where I'm naturally wired to be. I think as city council people, it's very dangerous to go like into each department and say, well, I'm gonna vote that you need to run your department this way, because ultimately we need to try to hire the proper people to make decisions in the way that we think are best. But we have to be careful of like that over micromanagement in every department. So it's just my take on it, even though I appreciate kind of the sentiment of trying to be problem solvers.
We just remove the people that don't do what we want.
That's a different way to say it.
I know.
That's the way it is.
All right, so I want to come back again and say you do have that right and to present it to your fellow council members and say, and we can do a roll call type of vote if you want to present that to them.
I just want to be clear that this is just to ask staff just to look into the possibility of that. I'm not asking for any sort of like numbers, or I agree that like it's kind of dangerous to, make those promises, because we don't want to keep breaking promises and when it comes to the trust of the Raleigh citizens. But this would just be, I guess, a vote that they would look into what was proposed by my fellow council members.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to word what you just said.
Can I ask a question just in reflection
Yes.
of that? So with the election being so soon, is there actually a benefit of doing it now? So we're like right on the edge. So like we're
Right.
gonna motion them to go look into things.
Yeah.
That by the time the election occurs, we're gonna have way more information after this occurs, and they won't actually be able to gather us the information quickly enough to give us anything that's usable prior to the election. Again, it may be great data to have had or to have in the future, but now that we're so nearing the actual election itself, is there any point of doing it while we're on the doorstep?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point, that we wouldn't have that information until after. I mean, people start voting tomorrow for the, what is it,
Right.
absentee, so I agree with you that information
Well,
probably.
I don't think until he told me, I don't know if I realized it was 2 weeks,
Right.
2 weeks away. I was like, wow, it really is 2 weeks away.
If I can intervene, maybe it would be enough at this stage for the public to be aware that this is something that the council can ask for or look into, or ask to have looked into when this information comes. And I'm not sure that's something that has ever been expressed before in response to what the public has, at least what I have ingested from public feedback. Because I'm not entirely sure that, again, I think as a concrete example of what affordability could look like to someone, it could be, I think, as you said, I just want to go to the pool, right? I can and I'm willing to pay, and who knows what that amount might be, but to go only to the pool, and I don't want to get involved to the other side. I don't know that it's been discussed whether that's even a possibility, and it sounds like it is something that we could, following the passage at this late stage of Prop S, that could happen, and that the council, at least some of us, seem interested in pursuing after that happens. As a reflection of what affordability, one thing that it could look like is a separate pool-only track.
Sure.
That could open up access to the center, the natatorium portion, for more people than currently, or at least as we perceive to be current. Is that a
Yeah.
fair statement?
Thank you.
So
I'm not
again-
asking for anything, I'm trying to reframe it.
Absolutely, I understand. So going back for clarity, is that something that you would like to do at this time, and bring that to the floor for council to make a decision whether or not they would like to instruct staff to look into that? I want to make sure,
Yeah, do I need to motion for that?
no, I just want to make sure
Oh.
that you still want to, that's what you still.
Yeah,
would
I like
to-
the way that Andrew had clarified that intent, to just look into it, and this would be kind of a promise to the people of Rolla that we are.
That would, that's,
Well, I don't want to be, no, I don't want to cause any misunderstanding. I think I'm trying to square the circle here. So we have
Yeah.
the reality, which is that even if we were to have this vote now, and I think I appreciate its symbolic importance, right, that we're trying to understand like a good faith effort, a commitment, but at this point, it might not have any practical effects.
Might be too late.
Because it's, yeah, I mean, yes, effectively, right? It's so close to the election itself that we could have the staff look into this and it wouldn't affect anything
Sure.
immediately. But I think in having this discussion, it seems like we've established that it could be something we could do if if Prop S passes and we're given the opportunity
Yeah,
to reimagine center
Sure.
membership.
I agree completely. This gives us, in terms of, when we get questions like, oh, the city doesn't set the prices, Phelps does. How are we supposed to respond to that? And so this would be kind of a way to do that, but I agree completely that, yeah, it might be a little bit late, so I just wanted to get that on the discussion, put it up in the air, that is a possibility, but it seems like it's a little too late, so.
okay. You want to say?
My concern is, sounds like what people are asking us to say is what people 20-plus years ago said, well, this is what we want to do, this is what we're gonna happen, and it didn't. Now, I hope to believe that they believed it would, but it didn't. So I think we have to be careful that we don't put something out there that is going to come back, well, you lied to us. Having said that, I was one of the people out there that was listening to all this. And I can say, when I say it's gonna be affordable, I expect to do everything I can to make sure it's affordable. But how we guarantee that, I don't know.
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to what you were saying, you just were trying to get feedback from different council members, or some type of statement that, how serious they are about making it affordable. I think you were saying something.
I think in a broad sense, that is what the concerned public that I have heard from, let's say, might believe the least right now. And having this discussion, or if people want to make statements about their own personal position on what the future might be. Not concrete ones, not promises. I understand the danger there, but at least I think for people to have a sense that this council, when they put that on the ballot, that they meant it, is in a broad sense, I think, what they might be looking for.
All right.
I agree. I think ultimately, a lot of people have lost trust. And I think, we really need a chance to be able to gain that back. And the only way that's gonna happen is if we can actually show them by action. And that each one of us are really gonna work our hardest to do what we feel is right. And one of the biggest things that we've discussed is affordability. So, I'm gonna work toward affordability to the best of my ability. But that's all I can say about that, because I don't know what that's gonna look like from now until then, until we get all that information, until we get those numbers. But I definitely, that is gonna be something on my mind as we move forward with all of this. So I think that we really need to regain that trust.
Right.
Is there anyone on council who would like to speak anything more on this, who hasn't had the opportunity to speak? All right, are there any other, city council, comments?
I would
Yes.
like to just commend Mr. Gentry for all the comments that he makes. He, I don't know, he must not sleep at night. Because anytime I see something on the center, he's got an answer in there. He just puts it out there. So he's really amazed me.
More fun than working on my degree.
All right, any other citizen comments? I mean, not citizen council comments? All right, comments for the good of the order. Our next city council meeting is gonna be Monday, August the 3rd, 2026. That's right before August the 4th, Proposition S is on the ballot. Is there any other comments for the good of the order? All right, we don't have anything for a closed session tonight, and seeing that the agenda has been completed, hearing no other additional business, the Raleigh City Council meeting for Monday, July